welcome to the first of my Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, or D&D Next episodes. First off, on December 9th, the 5th book in this series, the Dungeon Master's Guide, is going to be out. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's start off with the first one we saw come out, Hoard of the Dragon Queen. They describe, the story so far. Here's the different episodes. Here's all sorts of charts to roll on for encounters as they're wandering, trying to find stuff, and you're giving them things to do. Here's all the different people that are in there, the different monsters that are in there. Everything that you need, again, everything you needed to experience what D&D Next was about was in here. Then they came out with the next thing, which is going to help a lot for creating your characters, the Player's Handbook. This is going to walk you through creating a character. Whatever kind of character you want. You want to create a barbarian, you want to create an elf, you want to be a spellcaster, you want to be a fighter, you want to be a cleric. It's all here. And you know what really, really made me very, 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 very happy? So, this. Remember this? Remember back in the old days when you had more than 4 spells and not everybody had the same spell? This much of the book is magic. All the different spells for all the different classes, all the way up to level 20. And the spell system is based on the old spell system. So you have so many slots for level 1, so many slots for level 2, so many slots for level 3, etc., as you go up levels. The neat thing is, if you have a level 3 slot open and memorize a level 1 spell in there, it powers that level 1 spell up to a level 3 power, but it's still that level 1 spell. So you can power up whatever's... I want Magic Missile to be a magic missile that blows guys up. I want it to be that powerful. We'll put it in the 8th level slot. Kaboom! Wow. Customizing your character so it's not like every other magic user out there? Where have you been? Kaboom! And the next thing that came out that you may have got already... the Monster Manual. This is the one that describes every monster. Every monster. Beautifully illustrated again. We got that the glossier, really thinner paper. So, all you crazy fast page flippers, settle down. You could damage your book because the paper is really thin, but it's really glossy, really looks nice. There's a couple illustrations there. The Drider and the Dryad, etc. They're all in there. All the monsters that you're looking... I'm sure they're going to come out with specific monsters later. They always do in modules. But for most campaigns, bam, baby. There it is. There's the stuff you remember from the old days. I know I keep harkening back to the old days of D&D. But I started D&D in 2nd edition. The Rise of Tiamat. Now, this is basically a module. For those of you who are new to D&D or... that sort of thing. A module is sort of an adventure with all the stuff you need, all the maps, all the character sheets, all the NPCs, all the monsters, everything all in one place. So, as you can see by the table of contents here, 9 episodes, basically 9 different chapters that you could play all at once or over time. And each one of them has explanations of what they are, information about this is the stuff you should read, information on the village. Like, there's a lot of background in here, and then we get to all the different factions, and then we get all the people who are in here and what they want and what they're about, and then we get into stuff like episode 1. And as Wizards does a great job on these. The illustrations are great. The paper on these ones, these modules, is really nice and thick paper. It's not a glossy paper. But it really looks nice. And as I said, you go through and everything. The tables for every encounter that's going to happen, information, background, if they try and do this, here's some things about it. It's really walking you through it. The maps, don't look at that too much if I haven't gone through this yet. You don't want to spoil it. This will be coming out in just a few days. The Dungeon Master's Guide. This is the one. If you want to run a campaign, this is the book you need. It's not quite how you remember it from the old days, because I think they've taken all the stuff that all the playtesters said, and they really listened to the people who were playtesting the game and said, okay, you know what? That's what you want. We're going to give it to you. So what we've got here is a step-by-step guide. A I'm not sure what to do guide. A what should I do? How do I make a campaign? I know I want to make one. I've DM'd before, but how do I jump into D&D Next? How do I jump into this 5th edition? This new one that is going to seem very familiar, but is, again, as well different. Everything. What if I want him to have a goal, I want him to make something, but I really don't have anything in mind. Sometimes you get caught unawares. We're playing D&D this week and I didn't have any time all week to prepare anything. I've got a chart right here, event-based goals. I don't know what to do. I roll myself a d20. I got an 11. Help a villain find redemption. Okay, that gives me a seed of where to go. And then I can go on to that and they say, okay, well, I want a twist to the story. Well, I've got a twist chart here. Roll it. I roll a d10. I get a 7. And the adventures have 2 different goals, but they can complete only one. So I would go back to the goal chart and roll another goal and give them the 2 options in there. Running the game, here's an idea how to run the game if you've never done one before. Flip over to that. It'll sort of give you an idea of what to do, how to do it. It basically explains if you've never ran a campaign before, but you want to, you really think you're up for it, this book will tell you how to do it. This book is really giving you a good starting point if you haven't played in a while, or if you weren't really sure whether you could do it or not. So on December 9th, the final of the core rule books, the DM's Guide, is coming out. If you're interested in D&D Next, pick it up. If you're just interested in old school D&D and you want to see what they've done with it, pick this one up. If you really want to get into it, pick this one up. And this one. And this one. Because there is the core set. This is what you need. This is everything you need, really, to run a campaign, to run your own campaign. This is it. I mean, a lot of people like this nice hardcover bound book. But there's one problem with the hardcover bound book. And that is this. It doesn't really lay flat nice. It doesn't. I mean, it stays open if you're on the start, but when you get closer to the ends, you're starting to want to flop. I think that's one of the reasons why they use the thinner paper, because it does lay flatter. But it doesn't lay flat. So if you're working, as I'm sitting right here on like a couch and you were good at, and it slips, it's like, oh shit, my book just shut. Now what page was I on? Damn it. Now the adventure's holding while I'm flipping through. Where's that page? I would like to see a version of these spiral bound so that they lay flat and don't flop shut. But it is really, really nicely done books. They're hardcovers and they're beautifully illustrated front to back. Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master's Guide. These are the core 3. These are what you need to run your own campaign. These 3. And to be honest, if you're the Dungeon Master, you don't really need the Player's Guide if one of your players has it. So that can sort of lower your costs if amongst the group of you, you're buying what books you need. And if you're really not sure if you want to go this route with, I mean, that's a fair price tag to get all those 3 books. Run out to your local gaming store, pick up the first one, Hoard of the Dragon Queen. Go through that and see if you like it. If this wets your whistle, as they say, if this makes you interested in D&D Next, maybe you want to pick up some of the books, or go to your friendly local gaming store, find where they're running a D&D Next campaign, and see if you can join in. Or even just come and spectate. I don't know if they're allowing spectators or not. They might. It would probably be up to the local store. But, the main focus, the main thrust of this is the one that's coming out. The third one on December 9th, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and that's all of the core set. I haven't played D&D in quite a while. This stuff makes me want to play again. So, take from that what you will. See you next time.